So many children, teachers, and administrators are suffering under COVID measures. I will be charitable and say these measures were initially agreed to by well-meaning people, but enough time has passed that we can see the flaws in the system that has been set up in the name of the greater good. On top of suffering under extreme safety measures, for many students and even some teachers, schools have become a place of threats, intimidation, and bullying if anyone dares question the practices and procedures in place, all in the name of safety and well-being. Across the province, school boards are interpreting the world of Alberta Health Services in different ways. Then in turn, each school administrator interprets how they are going to carry out the recommendations from their school board. Schools and school boards have taken it upon themselves to exceed the recommendations many times since in-person learning started back up in September. With an aim to make data-driven choices about COVID measures, the privacy of students and their families, teachers and administrators is now up for grabs. Trustees looking to prove or disprove asymptomatic spread in schools are eager to implement a more thorough track and trace system. This COVID crisis has shown us the end results of COVID measures time and time again return the opposite results of what was promised. Support for COVID initiatives is secured with the promise of providing more freedom, improved health, and less restrictions for our teachers and their students. The reality has been less freedom, declining health, and more restrictions. Even as many schools try their best to be welcoming, safe, and caring, the current policies that they operate under have created a dehumanizing experience for children in schools and those struggling online. Who can children and parents turn to when their reports of harm resulting from COVID measures seem to fall on deaf ears? Regardless of how sympathetic those ears are, if it has no power to change anything in the new COVID status quo, you might as well be talking to a brick wall. The Alberta Ministry of Education has hundreds of staff working under them to further their aims for Alberta. The Alberta School Board Trustee Association looks out for the interests of the school board trustees of Alberta. The Alberta Teachers Association includes the union that protects and speaks for the teachers of Alberta. What Alberta organization or union or association speaks for students and their parents who are suffering as a result of all the COVID measures agreed to by all the bureaucratic entities I just mentioned? Is that why students and their parents are now taking to their sports venues, to protest, to social media, to desperately seek out support? I was excited to hear that a group of parents and students are planning to join us next week to speak. Parents and their children need to be heard. It is time we had an Alberta group that coordinated our common interest to correct a system that continues to exchange our children's future against constantly moving goalposts based on faulty modeling and very disputable science. Do you think the price being paid in school is a fair trade to achieve COVID zero? Do you like the kind of future the COVID measures are creating for our children? No! I call on student groups, parents, educators, and everyone willing to lend their skills and efforts to make a change in direction in our school system. We are stronger together. My name is Corrinne, and I am organizing a team to better coordinate our efforts. Please find me in the crowd, and we can talk about how you can get involved in standing up for our kids. Thank you for being here today and for supporting our children.